As today's date of presentation, we were given a valuable chance that we can decide whatever we want to present. With that valuable chance in my belt, I would like to share a little bit what I know about web service technology and architecture. Perhaps it's web service architecture and technology. Okay. In web service architecture and technology, we are going to see a couple of different objectives associated with web service architecture and technology. We are going to see definition of web service, what the web service actually means. We are going to see another objective which is called the remote procedure calls. We are going to see XML, which stands for extensible markup language. We are going to see SOAP. We are going to see WSDL. We are going to see UDDI and architecture of the web service. Perhaps without forgetting characteristics of what of web service. Okay, by starting with what the actual web service means. The web service is the medium that propagates communication between a client and the server application. So for a client, if you want to access a certain service to a server, then there must be a medium that propagates that communication. That perhaps is what it's a web service. That's web service is the application which is designed to perform a certain task. That's so when a client want to obtain such task from that web service, he or she must initiate communication between his client computer and the web server, so that he can get what he or she intended to get. And another objective of web service, it is a remote procedure call. A remote procedure call, how it works. This works in a certain situation whereby when a client wants to access a certain service from a web server, then there must be a means of communication. That, for instance, if I want to log into a certain server and I'm far away from the local server that is located within, so I have to use a means of remote procedure to access the certain service that within that server. So that is about remote procedure call. And another objective is XML, which stands for extensible markup language. And XML, it's the W3C recommendation that's usually for creating special purpose markup language for describing, structuring, and data exchange. So when two applications want to communicate within each other, so they have to use the means of XML to share data within them. So XML acts as the medium of transfer of data between these two applications. Perhaps wherever they have designed in different programming languages, so nevertheless they can talk to each other. Okay, in XML we have what we call XML namespace, we have XML schema, we have XML DTD. So in XML, if you want to prepare an XML document, you have to follow some structure of writing that document, and this perhaps is associated with what we call XML schema. XML schema helps you to design a well documented structure and layout of your XML document. And another thing in XML, we have what we call XML DTD. DTD stands for document type definition, and DTD it's associated with some structure of writing DTD. that you have the XML documents. So if you want to write a DTD, you have to follow the structure of an XML document. What XML document perhaps relay. So the structure for your DTD has to play roles to your XML documents. And in this XML DTD, there are some common terms that is associated so that you can write a good DTD. For instance, we have elements, attributes that are associated with your XML document. And according to W3 schools, they define the XML DTD as the structure and legal elements and attributes of an XML document. If we could have a blackboard here to explain more on how to write a DTD, but as a little bit of explanation, this means that, for instance, if you have what you call two scripts with the same layout and same tags and attributes. So if you run the script, it's a bigger chance that this script will conflict to each other. They will raise conflict within this script because they are same. So you can't distinguish exactly which script to run before the other. So to avoid this, we use XML namespace to accomplish the task. That on root tag you specify a given name that is different to the another script. So the two scripts you provide different name to their root tag. That's all about XML. Okay, perhaps XML is associated with different building blocks. In XML, we have different building blocks that are associated with XML document. We have what we call an element. An element is the ending and closing tag and the word within it. Associated word within it. The whole tag is an element. Then we have what we call attribute. Attribute is a name value to a given tag that you provide a special attribute to a given tag. So if you want to refer to a certain document within a certain tag, you refer to its attribute. Okay, another, we have character data. In character data, we have entities, we have white space, and encoding. Another thing in XML building blocks, we have what we call, I think I've forgotten the answer to be, but I'll remember it later. XML document. And another object is what we have SOAP, which stands for Simple Object Access Protocol. This protocol is used to send data within application that initiates communication between two applications. That if you want one application to communicate with one another, then SOAP you need to transmit those data. And in SOAP, the transmitted data is what we call SOAP message. And SOAP message is the one that we refer to an XML document. And in SOAP message we have different blocks. We have SOAP receiver and the intermediaries that initiate communication between receiver and SOAP port and SOAP sender. The SOAP sender initiates the communication. In SOAP receiver, the one that is targeted to receive the communication from source sender. So the intermediates act as a blocker between these two. Okay, that's all about SOAP. Another, we have WSDL, which stands for Web Service Description Language. And this Web Service Description Language, the ones that work in different ways. That, for instance, if a client wants to access certain service to a given server, then WSDL will provide a little information about what kind of service, what type of service the web service have. So WSDL define where the web service resides, and answer to a communication on where the web server resides, so that a client can easily access it. And we have, in WXDL, we have what we call document structure. And in document structure, WSDL, it is categorized with different things. We have ports, which acts as an address to a local computer to the web server that is hosted. So if you access the port, then you have successfully accessed the web service. We have port type. This you can think at the interface, on how the web service is designed. Another, we have a message. Message, you can think as the method of communication. We all know about methods. Okay, another thing, we have what? Data. This you can think about data types. Data types, that this is another web SDL document structure that build up the WCL. UDDI stands for Universal Description, Discovery and Integration. As the name suggests, according to Wikipedia, DDDL, they explain it as a standard for describing, publishing, and discovering the web service that are provided by a particular service provider. That's all I know about UDDI. Another objective of web service, we have web service architecture. In web service architecture, this can be explained in three ways. We have three components that build up this architecture. We have the requester, we have the producer, and we have what? The registry. Registry acts as a central server. When a requester wants to access a certain service that is stored on the registry, then there are two ways communication between these two: registry and what? Registry and the requester. So the requester can locate the service to the web registry. And another is producer. The producer publish a certain document or service to the registry. So if a requester wants to access a certain service to a registry, then there must be a point whereby a producer has already published the given service to the registry, so that the requester can access it. And another, we have two-way communication between producer and the requester. They bind to each other. That there must be the initiative producer and the one to access the service, which is the requester or consumer. So these two, they depend to each other. The thing that producer creates are the one that can be accessed by the requester or consumer. So these two components build up the architecture of web service. Okay, that's all about characteristics of web service. Is one, it's XML based, as we already explained earlier what XML documents mean. So that is one of the characteristics. We have loosely coupled, we have synchronous and asynchronous. In asynchronous, let me explain about it. Asynchronous is when you have, let's say you have initiated some activity in a web service. So you can't proceed with another activity until the first activity that you have initiated has terminated. So that's what's mean about synchronous. And the asynchronous, you can run both activities in parallel. You can initiate another activities and proceed with another activities in parallel. So they run in parallel. You can walk in parallel between these two. Okay, perhaps when I can share with you advantage of web service. That it is service reuse, one among the advantage. We have loosely coupled, and the third one I think I've got it. So after saying so, that is all about web service architecture and technology. I would like to hear from you if you have questions.